Hi, welcome back to the Unteachables as we begin Chapter 12, Parker Elias. I kick off Spirit Week by getting arrested. I'm on my way to pick up Grams on Monday morning when this cop pulls over because my tail light is out. The problem is this guy is new, and when I show him my provisional license, he thinks it's a fake ID. So he takes me into the police station, and by the time the desk sergeant straightens him out, I'm late for picking up Grams. She's not waiting outside her apartment building. But when I run upstairs and knock at the door, nobody answers. I drive around the neighborhood, and sure enough, there she is, walking along the main drag. I pull up along her and lower the window. Grams, what are you doing? Where are you going? Get in the truck. She keeps on walking and never even glances in my direction. Way back when she was growing up in Israel, a million years ago, her mother taught her never to get into a stranger's car. She forgot most everything else, including the grandson who's supposedly her favorite person, but that stuck. I have to drive half a block ahead, park, get out, and accidentally run into her on the sidewalk. She recognizes me now, and in fact, she's really glad to see me, but not half as glad as I am that I found her. She could have gotten a bus somewhere and been really lost. She still can't come up with my name, though. You look skinny, kiddo. You been eating? Sigh. Why can't she just say, you look skinny, Parker? Hey, here's the pickup, I announce in surprise. Hop in. I'll give you a lift. By the time I drop her off at the senior center, I'm way late. To make things worse, I get stuck behind this giant truck in the driveway of the school. I squint at the signs on the back. At first, it looks sort of like alien wrought ant grid, but that can't be right. Then I recognize the logo from the internet. It's Oriental Trading. That website's where you can order bulk amounts of things like joke glasses and light up necklaces and party stuff. I honk for them to let me pass, but they're already out of the truck, two big guys. They open the back and start hauling these giant cartoons onto the loading bay of the school. There's no writing on the boxes, but there's a picture, so I know exactly what's inside. Vavasulas for Spirit Week, hundreds of them. If they really ordered for every class but us, 1,000. My grip tightens on the wheel. What do I care? If SCS8 is being left out, it makes no difference to me if they order noisemakers for every man, woman, and child on the planet. Then I think of Mr. Kermit, the way he tried to make the principal change her mind, even though he hates Vizulas. Man, the sound of just one drives him bananas. If all these boxes, there must be enough noise power to bring down a herd of elephants. I pull around the truck, thumping over the curb and driving across some of the front lawn to the parking lot. That's against the rules of my license too, but this is an emergency. I roar into a spot, putting only a tiny scrape on the side mirror of Mrs. Onetta Mimi's Minnie Cooper. I jump out and head for the school without even using my bottle of scratch guard. By the time I hit the entrance foyer, I'm flying. I sprint clear across the school, past the gym to room 117. With luck, the other kids are there, but Mr. Kermit hasn't arrived yet. Considering he's a teacher, he sure doesn't seem to have a problem with tardiness. His own, anyway. If they gave late slips to staff members, Ribbit would spend the rest of his life in detention. Maybe that wouldn't be a bad thing for someone who loves crossword puzzles so much. The Villavazulas are coming, I gasped. One 1 if by land, and 2 if by sea, Barnstorm snorts. This is serious, I insist. Oriental Trading is parked out front right now unloading them. Kiana clues in. Mr. Kermit's going to lose it, and it's going to be hard to get any rest, adds Ram with a yawn. It's no fair that everyone gets them but us, Aldo complains. I mean, I don't want a stupid Villa Vazula anyway, but it's still annoying. Ribbit's right, says Barnstorm. It's fine to have spirit if you really do, like if your team is winning the championship or something, but to have spirit because your principal tells you to, because of what week it is, that's just dumb. What does school spirit have to do with Vavazulas anyway, I complain, because they're loud. So are car accidents. I actually think about that a lot. Poor Mr. Kermit, Kiana adds. This is going to be rough for him. I wish there was something we could do to make it better. Maybe there is, Mateo muses. Aldo rolls his eyes. What? We send him on a vacation to the Death Star until Spirit Week is over? Of course not. He dismisses this. The Death Star is Star Wars. Mr. Kermit is the Grinch. The Grinch isn't real, Kiana explains patiently. But what the Grinch did can be real, Mateo insists. He didn't like Christmas, so he stole it, all of it. All the Christmas stuff in Whoville, even the Who's pudding and the roast beef. Barnstorm's eyes widen. Still the Villavazulas? There are like 7 of us, and I'm on crutches. How are we supposed to carry that many Villavazulas? They're in boxes, I put in. Big ones, but I don't think they're super heavy. At least the Oriental Trading guys are having no trouble unloading them. Where do we put them? Aldo demands. In our lockers? Matilda is stuck on the holiday TV special. The Grinch loaded the Who's Christmas stuff on a sled to dump off the top of Mount Crumpet. Too bad there aren't any 10,000-foot cliffs around here. That's when it hits me. Guys, what about the river? If you follow the school property straight on past the athletic fields, you'll eventually come to the banks of the Greenwich River, which divides our town in two. Kiana shakes her head sadly. It's just not practical. There's no way we could move giant boxes all that way. I'll drive them, I say suddenly. We just have to load them into my truck. I can't quite describe how I feel. It's not that I'm so anxious to do it, but suddenly it just seems so doable. And knowing it's possible, it feels like we have to try. Ram looks up from his doodles. We'll get in trouble, no kidding. If we get caught, it's hard to imagine the school will go easy on the kids who hijacked 1,000 Vullavazulas. The answer comes from all the people. Elaine. We're already in trouble, she rumbles from her spot at the back of the room. This class is trouble. What can they do to us? Put us in here twice? Let's do it. Kiana reaches a hand into the center of our group for Mr. Kermit. Barnstorm places a crutch over it. I'll show them where they could stick their spirit. Aldo tries to lay his hand over Kiana's, but the crutch is in the way. Nobody tells me what to get worked up about. To the universe and beyond, Matea exclaims. We all sign on, even Ram, who is as close to wide awake as I've ever seen him. We have to hurry, I urge. Once the custodians start unpacking those cartons, it's all over. We head for the loading bay, taking the long way to avoid passing the faculty lounge. The last thing we need is to run into Mr. Kermit's heading for room 117. Not that he'd asked where we were going. Luckily, the halls are busy, so nobody takes much notice of us as we loop around the main foyer and backtrack to the storage rooms that connect to the loading bay. Kiana peers around the door frame. Uh-oh. Following her lead, I peek into the storeroom. The loading bay door is still open to the driveway, but the truck is gone. Just inside stand the big boxes. I count 7 of them, stacked 3, 2, and 2. Mr. Carstairs stands next to them, the packing slip in one hand and half-finished bagel in the other. Why hasn't he started unloading yet? I murmur. He's probably waiting for help. Kiana whispers back. That means the other custodians could be here soon. Aldo curses under his breath. How are we supposed to get the boxes with Carstairs right there? Mateo has an idea. We need to create a distraction. What distraction? Kiana says. I could talk to him about the Silmarillion, Mateo volunteers. That's the creation story for the entire mythology of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and I'll try to get him to walk away. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life, Barnstorm hisses. We're going to need a better distraction than that. Definitely, deadpans Elaine. She rears up a heavy black boot and brings it down full force on Barnstorm's sneakered foot. The scream could probably drown out all those Velavazulas put together. It causes a major freak out in the hall. Mr. Carstairs comes running. What he sees in the school's injured sports hero on crutches, howling in agony. The custodian gets his shoulder under Barnstorm's arm, and the 2 of them begin hobbling in the direction of the nurse's office. Kiana turns accusing eyes on Elaine. You didn't have to do that. He could have just faked it. Aldo chortles. Not as good as that. We race into the loading bay. Oh, gross, Ram complains. What's gross, I ask. He points. It says it on the boxes. They're gross. Kiana throws up her hands in exasperation. That's not gross. That's one gross. It means there's 144 Valavazulas in each carton. That makes... Mateo does the calculation in his head. 1,008. I thought we were only getting 1,000. It really seems to bother him. Never mind that. I'll go for the truck. I scramble out the loading bay and jump the 3 feet down to the pavement. I sprint for the parking lot and leap into the pickup. It takes all the restraint I can muster to keep from stomping on the gas. The last thing we need is for the squealing tires to attract the attention of every adult in the school. Suddenly, my perforated muffler doesn't seem like such a great asset either. It may sound cool, but we're trying for stealth here. I get out and scramble onto the platform to help with the loading. You know all the stuff about Valavazulas being light. Well, that goes out the window when you're lifting a box with 144 of them. On the plus side, we've got Elaine, who could lift the load and the loading bay with it, and maybe the truck too. Kiana and Mateo pile in beside me, but Aldo, Ram, and Elaine have to jog along the pickup. I pull around the side of the school and then jump over the curb and start driving slowly along the grass. I glance at the rearview mirror and I see Elaine flashing me a thumbs up. I normally try to have as little interaction with her as possible, but right now the gesture gives me heart because I'm pretty scared at this point. Are we crazy? Probably, but that's not the part that bothers me. My main worry is that none of this is covered by my provisional license, and if it gets revoked, we're going to pick up Grams every morning and drive her to... How am I going to pick up Grams every morning and drive her to the senior centers? Tune in next time as we read Chapter 13.